Hey everyone, my name is Arv, this is my wife Dee, and this is our honest review for Godzilla vs. Kong. We are talking about this movie today. We didn't get a chance to watch it in theaters, so we rented it on Prime Video Canada, and it was great. It was great. Directed by Adam Wingard. I'm a big fan of this guy's previous movies, and this film is preceded by three movies: Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's recommended you guys watch that because it kind of ties into the plot of this movie too. So we're gonna talk about the good, the bad. Then we're gonna have a spoiler discussion. We'll give you guys a warning. Don't worry, and then we'll give you our honest rating. Okay, so let's dive into it. So the good. First of all, as one of my friends put it, this movie is lit. Literally, it's lit very well. A lot of the action takes place in the daytime. Even the night scenes are great. Nice long takes, so you can see the image in front of you. You can see them fighting. Not a lot of quick cuts. Good acting for the most part, even from Godzilla and Kong. CGI is gorgeous.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The CGI, all the imagery were amazing. Very crisp, very beautifully done. And I'm not even technically well versed when it comes to films, but I could definitely see the quality of the movie and the imagery that was there. It really just highlighted the different fight scenes that were in the movie.
Speaking of fight scenes, the kaiju battles in this, it delivers on its premise. It's what you came for, and the movie's giving you that exactly. And they're just very creative. They're so well shot. The perspectives are great. And without spoiling anything, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that expands the MonsterVerse. And they've been building up to it with the previous, with these franchises and the previous movies. And there's also a couple of big surprises in this movie, but we'll get into that in spoiler talk, all right? So now we're gonna get into the bad about this movie, okay? We both docked a couple stars because of certain elements. For me, it was a plot thread involving these three people that were sort of doing some investigating, and I just found their dynamic kind of boring. Every time the movie cut to it, it just halted the movie. It was very lackluster, and I didn't care about them at all.
Definitely. I thought that those three characters were underutilized, so I did see the purpose for having them there, and I can talk a little bit more about that later on in the spoiler section, so sit tight. But they were definitely not used the way you could use them, or the movie could have used them. Every single time they came in, it felt like they were leading up to something, and it just never happens.
And also, just to mention briefly, the final battle, it's awesome, but there's an element to it which I wish there was more of. And we'll get into that again in spoiler talk, but I would have liked to have seen more of that. It was very brief, and it's a big reveal. Otherwise, great film all around. I'll give you my rating, she'll give you hers. For me, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I give it an 8 out of 10 too. Solid movie. Alright, so now is going to be the spoiler section of this review. So you've been warned. Here we go. In 3, 2.
So let's start from the beginning before we jump into major spoilers. That ocean fight where Kong is just hopping from ship to ship and Godzilla's trying to drown him and just taking out the military. Beautiful. I love the way it was shot. It was so bright, and CGI was fantastic. Even the humans had a bit of connection to them, and they were involved as well. But yeah, Godzilla had home court advantage, and he just decimated Kong. Secondly, the whole Hollow Earth scene I was not expecting, and from the moment they bring Kong down there and they explore it, it's vast. The CGI is great, and it's so awesome how they included other monsters and they gave this thing a history. Kong finds his battle axe there, and you see a sort of history of his species destroying older Godzillas. They kind of spell that out for you with the skeletons there.
And as a secondhand nerd, I really appreciated how they incorporated these factors in the movie. So the Hollow Earth theory and introducing Mechagodzilla. They didn't go into too much of a technical explanation. They didn't draw it out for too long. So I felt that I appreciated the movie as a standalone, but definitely, for someone who follows and is a Godzilla lover, that felt like a treat for you. So it was enjoyed in two levels.
Yeah, and this is the movie where they introduced Mechagodzilla. And, I mean, prior to that, Godzilla uses his atomic breath to dig a hole from Hong Kong to the middle of the earth, and I thought that was pretty awesome. You'd never seen that scale of power before, but missed opportunity there to have Kong and Godzilla fight in like low gravity, like an Inception style fight scene. Mecha Godzilla, he shows up in the last 15 minutes, and I wanted more of him. I wish he was, they kind of tease him earlier where he's lasering his test subjects, the skull crawlers, and then you see you see him in full form in the end there, and Ghidorah takes over from the last movie, and I loved how visceral and how crazy that fight was. Literally taking his face and just rubbing it into a building, and Kong saves him, and great finale there. It's what you want from a kaiju fan perspective. But yeah, I love the final battle scene for sure. Another thing I didn't expect was that they gave Kong a lot of heart. There was that little deaf girl who was communicating with him using ASL, and she was sort of a huge plot point herself. She was kind of telling him, Godzilla is not the enemy. Mecha Godzilla is. You two need to team up and fight him. And other than those three characters that were annoying, I think she was probably my favorite of the human characters.
Yeah, and this is where I'd have to disagree with regards to the three characters because even though they felt like they were extras for sure, I felt that their purpose in the movie was to humanize Godzilla. So I think in that light, the movie really was able to harness the characters, even the side characters, and make us as the audience relate to the monsters, and it just made it extra special because now you felt for the monsters, especially during that scene when Godzilla and Kong just stared at each other, and it just heightened the experience, made you really appreciate the imagery even more because you really felt like they were real.
So yeah, that's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. That's why she's giving it an 8 out of 10. It gives you what you want. It delivers on its premise. It's straight up a monster versus movie. So check it out for sure in theaters if it's safe to. And that's it from us, Arvin D. Please subscribe and like and comment. We'd love to hear from you guys, your thoughts. And check us out for more videos coming soon. Thanks everyone. Peace out.